And there we go. So welcome everyone. This is the second artist talk of 3. It's using social media to promote your artwork with our special guest presenter, Lori Catlin Garcia. My name is Holly Johnson, Program and Outreach Coordinator for the libraries. We'll talk a little bit more at the end of the program about what else is coming up for Granby Public Library. But for now, I want to share with you a little bit more about Lori because she's quite the talent here. Lori has over 25 years of experience as a professional designer. She holds a B.F.A. from the University of Evansville and an M.F.A. from the University of California, San Diego. During Lori's career, she has worked as a theater costume designer, a textile designer, and as a corporate art director and design manager in the toy industry. She's making art of all kinds, and always making that art has been her first love, both personally and professionally. She's a member of the Granby Artists Association since 2004, and she exhibits her artisan jewelry with the Granby Artists Association and also at the Granby Public Library during one of our month-long exhibit that we had here with the Granby artists. By day, Lori is a creative project manager at the Farthest Pixel LLC. It's an educational media design company. And you can find out more information about Granby Artists Association at their website, which is granbyartists.org. And you can also get in touch with Lori directly and learn more about her glass bead art. She's got an email, which is lcgartjewelry@cox.net. So if you want to contact her directly, you can do that there. But she is going to talk about social media tonight and self-promotion with your artwork. And so what I'd like to do is give an official welcome to Lori and let's get the program started. So welcome, Lori. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you, Holly. And let's just get right into it. Your handout might say a different date on it because I did give a version of this presentation for the Granby Artists Association a few months back. So let me go here. So just so you know about our agenda for this evening. So I'm just going to touch really briefly on a bit of research about who uses social media and the different types of social media. Why should you as an artist have a Facebook page? Copyright concerns in social media. The differences between a personal, a business page, and a group page. How you create a Facebook page and share a post, and also we'll go over Instagram, and also how to use parts of social media that are at no or low cost to do your own marketing for your artwork. So without further ado, here we go. Just a little bit of demographic research here. So earlier this year, the Pew Research did a study, and they found that over 69% of adults in the United States use at least one social media site, which is actually kind of an astounding number if you think about it. Just remember, all of those people are your potential customers for your artwork. Facebook has gotten some bad press, particularly in the last few weeks, and they are in the midst of a rebranding effort, but they still remain one of the most widely used platforms. And you can see over here, the growing share of Americans who say they use YouTube is 81%, but Facebook is the one that's right behind that at 69%. And while Instagram is, you can see Facebook's flat, but Instagram and Pinterest are both growing. So that's something else to note right there about the demographic research going on. So basically the social media platforms that you have to choose from, I would argue that the main ones are Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and that the sort of secondary tier would be Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok. That's my personal opinion, and there are probably a lot of people who argue different ways, but I'll tell you why I think that as we go along. And the one thing I want to stress tonight, if you are just new to diving into social media, don't dive into it all at once would be my advice. And this is actually a quote. It is better to be amazing at one or two of the social platforms than to suck at 5 or 6. So that is really, really true, because it is a lot of work. I do a lot of the social media work for the company that I work for. And, you know, it's endless. You just have to post all the time. So it would be better to post all the time to Facebook than have 5 or 6 platforms going on and only post sporadically to all of them. So why should you use Facebook? Obviously, to increase your exposure to your potential audience members. But you should know that, particularly in the light of everything that's happened in the last year or two, that people are more comfortable than ever buying stuff online, and that includes art. I know I had many discussions with many of my artist friends who tell me that they never sold much online until this year, and suddenly, you know, I have one friend who's a painter, and she's selling all kinds of stuff just right off her Facebook page. It's a great way to engage with your customers on a personal level. There's always that personal touch, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in your posting. If you're involved in shows and events like I am, you can advertise them on your Facebook page. And if you have a website or a web store, you can drive traffic to the store that way. And I see there's a question, so let me see. Oh, it was just a message to me, so I'm just going to keep going here. So the first thing I want to talk about before we dive into the nitty-gritty of how you make a Facebook page is about protecting your work. Now, protecting your work as an artist is nothing new. Stealing other people's art, unfortunately, is nothing new. If you're an artist, it's probably happened to you in one way or another, if you've been doing it your whole life at least. It's a little less worrisome a problem for 3D artists. And as a 2D artist, you mainly have to worry about people sort of snatching your images off the internet and printing them on other things. Did anybody, I want to actually just open this up. We actually went down a big rabbit hole with the Granby Artists Association and talked about this for about an hour. But before I get off that slide, if you had any specific, I just got off the other slide. If you had any specific questions about the copyright issue, you know, just put them in the chat and I will try to answer them as we go along here. Here's some ways that people protect their work online. Some artists use watermarks. That's not always the most popular way, but if you put, when you take your photo of your artwork, you might put, say, your logo as a mask over it or in the background or very large, depending on what kind of piece of artwork it is, so that the logo can't be removed from the piece very easily because it's integrated with the whole image. The one I see used most often is to use low resolution images. And that means when you take a picture, say with your iPhone, a pixel is how we measure the length and width of a photograph, and screen resolution is 72 pixels per inch. And I think you're all probably familiar, like when you stretch out something, like if you've ever tried to, I do a lot of graphic artwork, and if I can't get somebody's logo, if you try to grab it off their website, it always looks really bad and blurry, and that's because it's at screen resolution. So the thing you can do is take your images and actually make sure they're very, very low resolution, because you need a high resolution to print. So if you have a really, really good image of your artwork that's 4,000 pixels wide, it's really easier for somebody to just snatch that and potentially, you know, print it out. And then one of my favorite ways personally is to use creatively altered images, meaning post a work in progress, post a portion of a painting so the whole thing's not showing, put several things on a table and take a picture of them, do a 3D moving shot. A lot of people are doing video these days, and you know, they can't really take your image out of a video very easily. So there's a lot of different ways that you can think about doing that, and be sure as you're thinking about that, that you get pictures of yourself working and definitely of the work in progress, because that's really interesting to your audience too. So there are different types of Facebook pages and profiles that you can make. So first of all, you can have a personal Facebook profile or a business page on Facebook. And we want to make sure that we differentiate between those two things. So generally, I'm just gonna get out of this for a minute if I can and go over here, and I'm going to show you some of these examples. So this is my personal Facebook page. There's me. Here's some mountains on my vacation, stuff I'm doing with the Granby Artists Association, yes, but it's also like, you know, me with my best friend and me hiking and me with my family. That may not be all the stuff that you want to show the entire world. I would limit, you know, the number of people I'm actually friends with on Facebook. This is my friends at Nuke and Mark at Silver Street Glass, and this is their business page. And I think they have a really nice business page, as does Debbie Relitz, who's on this call right now. Silver Street Glass has a beautiful cover photo of Anuka Ridolati's glass, and beautiful profile picture of one of Mark's paperweights, and then lots of pictures of them working and lots of pictures of their artwork. So that's a business page, and we're going to get into depth on the features of a business page in a little bit later. And then just to confuse you even more, the last type of Facebook entity would be a group page, and this is the Granby Artists Association, our organizational page, and we have I guess it's about 35 artists now, so we have stuff from everybody in the whole group, and we share to this page and from this page while we are on Facebook. I'm just going to take a oh, this is an interesting comment from Andy. There's software plugins to make low-res images large and very good quality. Okay, see, I'm a 3D artist, so I'm not as savvy on the 2D art part of it, but I will also tell you kind of my feeling about, you know, the whole sorry business. Your art is your art, and it makes you unique, and it's happened to me. It happens to everybody out there. Hopefully it's not going to happen to you, or it's only going to happen once or twice. But I think if somebody's determined, they're, you know, they could probably do it. But that's why, you know, you may want to take a picture from an angle, take your, you know, painting on the easel and tilt it, show yourself working. I know that Debbie has some lovely shots of work spread on a work surface of several different pieces, so they're overlapping. So those are all ways you can look at it. So your Facebook profile, your own personal account on Facebook, that's where you tell people about yourself, and you add your friends and you share your personal stuff. Like I showed you the pictures of my vacation there and me in that boat. When you first join Facebook, you start with this personal profile. So the benefits of having a personal profile, you can share information and stuff with your friends and your family. You can follow businesses that you personally like and organizations, like I follow a lot of other artists, etc. And you can create your own posts and, you know, show you with your kids or whatever. So that page is for people who want to connect with their friends and family and organizations that you as a person like. Your business page is your business's digital presence on Facebook. So the page has tools to help you grow your business. And I'm going to tell you several times tonight that Facebook and Instagram would be very happy to take your money to help you grow your business. It's how you connect with customers and see how people you know, interact with your work. The benefits are that it can support a digital storefront for your business. So if you have a web store, you can direct people there or direct them to your webpage to see the classes you teach, etc., or the services you offer. you can connect on a personal level with your customers, without showing them the pictures of your kids. You can post pictures of your work and of yourself working and have lovely with people who are interested in your business or your service or your art. You can unlock business tools. Some of them are free and some of them are paid, to advertise your business and to grow your presence and to reach your sales goals. So the business page is for businesses and organizations, and sometimes public figures, etc., will have a page. So I don't want to belabor all the instructions nitty-gritty too much. That's why I sent you the handout. But Facebook has made it easier than ever to sign up for a Facebook profile. The thing that I will impress upon you here is that they are notorious for changing everything. I want to say like every 5 minutes, because that's what it feels like to me. But I did this presentation for the Granby Artists Association in April, and I went in last night, and I can't tell you how many slides I had to do over because they had changed everything about it. And I can promise you, just as soon as you think you've learned how to do everything, they change it again. And they're very notorious for doing that. I'm seeing some nodding heads there. So really all you have to do is enter your email or your phone number and make up a password, and there you go. They're gonna ask you how old you are and a couple things like that too. And boom, you do that and you've got a page. So this is just a little more information on the differences. I wanted you to have this information in your handout. How to create a new page, the difference between your personal Facebook profile and your business page, and what a group is, and just, how do you create your business page, step-by-step instructions. And again, to give you the example, so the example of a profile would be, Jane Doe. The example of a business page that Jane had might be Jane Doe's Pottery. And the group page, maybe she manages one, is the Granby Artists Association. Please note, like for me, I manage more than one Facebook group. I manage my work Facebook presence at my job. I manage, I'm one of the managers of Granby Artist page, and I manage my churches. I'm one of the managers for my church. So I say that because one of the most common things you see with people who have personal, business, and group responsibilities on Facebook is they will accidentally post something as the other person. So, I don't want to go somewhere and post as Granby Artists Association unless I'm trying to be Granby Artists Association, if that makes sense. So you need to make sure you have to choose who you're posting as and make sure you're aware of that if you have multiple entities going on Facebook. Just going to check that chat really quickly again. Holly says here, yes, Facebook's Creator Studio has prompted a number of changes, and they're changing it again. When I went in and looked at it last night, they had it changed some stuff with Creator Studio. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute. They actually made it a little bit easier to schedule posts, which is kind of nice. So we'll just keep going here. So anyway, so you have your Facebook profile, and then you can set up your business page. So all you have to do is go up here. I can't move my mouse without unfortunately, I'm trying to point with my pointer, and it's making the slide move. There's a series of 9 dots up there by my name where it says Lori. That's where you click, and then you can say create page, and what opens up is what's next to it. This is so easy. All you have to do is put in your page name. So it might be Lori Catlin Garcia Jewelry. The category, you will choose something like artists or arts and crafts or photography. There'll be a drop-down list when you click on category, and then a little description of your business, and boom, there you are. You've got a a Facebook page and people can find you. So I put in a couple things here about the dimensions of your Facebook page's cover photo. That's the big one that's at the very top of your page. And I don't need to say the pixels out loud or anything because they're all right there, and that'll tell you everything that you need to know to get that up and running with your photos there. So you put in your business name and description, you put in the big cover photo and the little profile photo, which is going to be a little in a little circle. And then you can also have a call to action button, which also like on Silver Street Glass, you can reach them directly. All you do is punch that in, and you'll connect with them. It's either by email or might even call them, I think, on their Facebook page. And then I put below here, Facebook wants your money. Let me repeat that. Facebook wants your money. You are going to get, the minute you start posting stuff, Facebook is going to come in with helpful suggestions for things they'd like to do if you would only pay them. So we're going to talk about that a little bit coming up, but don't be surprised they do it to everybody because that's their business model. And I am finding that we get more and more and more, particularly for my business, my day job, but we're actually are spending money on some of those things. So we'll talk a little bit why you would or wouldn't want to do that. So I've used Silver Street's Glass page here, and I've numbered it so you know what the different parts are. So number one's the cover photo. The little round number two is their profile picture. And, they change these. You don't have to leave it the same thing all the time if you don't want to. That call to action button there that says call now. If you want my, mind reader prediction for the night, I bet that they're going to monetize that soon. Because when I went to look for the information on that particular button, I had difficulty locating it last night, and it made me think that I wonder if they're going to start charging you to have that button on your page. It's just, we'll see if that actually happens. Where you create a post there, it's so super easy. You just click on create a post. If you want to upload a photo, you just click photo. You can tag people or other organizations if you want to. Tagging means that it could show up in their news feed as an item they can choose to put in their news feed, and you can exchange exposure that way. You can see that picture of Anuka there says pinned post. Super easy to do. If you want to keep a certain post at the top of your feed, you just pin it. And all you have to do is there's those little dots which are underneath my number 5, and you click on that and you pin it to the top, and it'll stay there. So like if you want to have a lovely picture of you working at the top all the time, right now Mark and Anuka are scheduling classes, and they do a lot of blow your own ornament classes at Christmas time. So that's a big business opportunity for them. So they're highlighting that right now by pinning it to the very, very top of their page. And you can also note here that in the about section, they have chosen to put a map. If you're me, you might not want to have a map to your house because I don't necessarily want people to come to my house. But, Mark and Anuka actually have a studio they sell out of. I have a studio in my house, but I don't sell my work here. But that's appropriate for their business model to have a map to their studio right there, because that's what they work out of. So there you go. Ta-da, yay you. You've got a Facebook page, and now comes actually the harder part, is you need to manage it. And can't stress enough that the big thing about having a social media presence is to not have it be stale. In some ways, it's almost worse for somebody who's looking, well, for me, it's a little different in, in a business that provides a service. If somebody is looking for a business and they go look at our Instagram account and find that we haven't posted since 2017, and we only have 6 pictures that are 4 years old, that's actually a negative to our business, not a positive. So, once you decide you're going to do it, you need to come up in your mind with a plan and a schedule, and you need to stick to it. You could decide you're going to post once a week on Fridays, or you could decide you're going to post twice a week, or whatever. But I find it helpful to write it on the calendar, or to put a reminder in, or to schedule them in advance. If you have any trouble going along, they do have a really great help center, and it's really clear and easy to follow. So I put the link there for you in the presentation. And I would say, if you're starting with Facebook, again, I would recommend that you consider becoming really proficient at Facebook before you jump into yet another platform, because again, it would be better to have a robust Facebook presence or a robust Instagram presence rather than a lackluster presence on both platforms. So that would be, just one piece of advice. So if you want to schedule a post under manage page, you can see on the left, I'm not going to move my mouse, it's going to move my slide. This is the Granby Artists Association, and I'm a manager on this page. And under manage page, you can go down, you can see under business suite there, it says planner. And then when you click on schedule, the planner will pop up, which is the bottom picture in this page. And this is new. Holly mentioned Creator Studio, and it used to be a little more complicated in my mind to schedule these posts, but they've made it easier. So you just go schedule a post or story, and in here, you can actually view this like a calendar, and this is pretty good now. So you can see the little grayed out one that says schedule a post or story, and you just make your post and you can schedule it for the rest of the month. So if you're going on vacation, you could do that. Or you could decide that you're more productive the first Friday afternoon of every month, and you're going to sit down and you're going to make 8 Facebook posts, and you're going to schedule them for the rest of the month. That, of course, doesn't give you the opportunity to have anything exciting, pop up, but you could go in and replace one, or you could add an extra. But if you're afraid you're going to fall off the wagon with your posting, this would be one way to keep it going. Oops, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. So once you've got the page, how do you grow it? So that would be called building a following. And it's important to build a following of people who are interested in what you have to share, your product or your service. And there are several ways to create a following for your page, but making people aware it's there is the first step. So let's go get ourselves some followers. So how do you do that? Well, if you have a personal page, obviously I would expect all the people on my personal page to do me a solid and like my business page. So, or follow it. So what first thing I would do is I'd put a big post on my personal page and say, hey, friends and family, yes, even you who are in Indiana, like my page so it looks like I'm popular. And please tell all your friends to like my page. So you put out a plea to your friends and your family and everybody else, ask them to like your page and to share it with people. It's pretty easy first step. Then what you can do is you can join, or you can even create relevant groups. So if you are a painter and you love plein air painting, well, you figure out all the plein air organizations in Connecticut or in the Northeast, or whatever interests you. I follow a whole bunch of glass lamp working pages. I'm not necessarily always going to share or to sell my work to other people who do glass art, but the thing is other people who are interested in glass art might find me there. The other thing you can do, and we're going to talk about this a tiny bit more later, is to join local groups that might not be art groups. So for instance, if you live in Granby, you might join Granby Living. I think they have some rules about, there's one day a week where you can, you know, post a picture of your work or your business or whatever. Join local groups where people might give you a shout out. Share your page outside of Facebook. So put it on your website for sure. Put that little Facebook link. People can just go boom, hit on that and go right to your Facebook page. Put it in your marketing materials. Put it in your blog posts, but don't spam. So you just want to make sure, you know, that you're not hitting people over and over and over the head with information they don't want. So just be careful. There's a balance there. And then the most important thing in my mind is to maintain an active community. If people come to your page and see you're on it and you're talking to people and you're going back and forth, they're much more likely to come back because that's fun. And people who are buying art like to engage with you as an artist. You know, they like to see your process. They like to see, you know, you mixing your paint and your tools spread out, you know, all over the place, or your hands holding the glass in the flame. Those are the great action shots to put on there. Every artist could do it. If you're a photographer, I think you're a photographer, right, Andy? You know, get somebody to take pictures of you taking pictures. I mean, that's really a great thing to do. And I'm going to show you a couple people in a few minutes that I think do this pretty successfully. I'm going to back out of this presentation and go back to Facebook in a second. And then if you belong to an artist group, always share your art to the group page. So is this me sharing my stuff to the Granby Artist page? So that's, you know, something you always want to do if you belong to an artist group or groups, if it's allowed. So before we get into Instagram, I'm just going to get out of this guy and I'm going to go back over here and show you some people I think do this pretty successfully. So we already looked at these Facebook pages, but I just want to pop over here to a couple other people here. Another local artist is a friend of mine, Vicente Garcia, I think does a really good job on his Facebook page. And if you have never gone to his studio, when he has his open studio, you should, because his work is awesome. But I just saw this today and I wanted to show you. You can see right here, this is his backyard and this is one of his sculptures, but he's just showing you this bird on his sculpture. You know, this isn't necessarily, you know, by this sculpture, but it's a really cool thing. And I think his website is masterful, and I think he does a masterful job with his videos, and he has a big following on his videos. And you know, he's showing in the video we're looking at now materials that he's gotten in that he's going to use to do his raku work. And then he posts videos of I get mesmerized by these of him doing the work. So these are he does a really great job with videos there. And then this is another friend of mine, Lori Rakiko Art in Simsbury. She's, you know, posts pictures of her paintings, and then she talks back and forth, having conversations here with her, you know, with her followers. And you can see right here, she's starting a painting of the Flower Bridge. And, you know, she says, I'm blocking out this painting right now, and here I am doing it. And here it is on the easel. That's exactly what I was talking about. Again, it doesn't just have to be, in fact, it probably is preferable for it not to be, if you're a photographer, picture I took, picture I took, picture I took, picture I took, just like me, it shouldn't be bead, 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 earrings, bead, you know, because it starts to look the same every time they go back to it. And the ones I showed you with the video, I think are really nice because there's something about that movement which is really appealing. Then I wanted to go onto Instagram. One thing I will tell you, Instagram is owned by Facebook, so you can expect that they're going to continue to integrate together. Instagram is built for pictures, and your Instagram feed can be a work of art in and of itself. And I'm going to show you a couple that I really like after this. And this is partly personal observation and partly actual, like, documented fact. Younger audiences tend to use Instagram more than Facebook. And if you have kids in your life, you probably already know that, that Instagram is much more where it's at. But, you need to think about your own customer and what's the best audience for you to show your work. For me, it's probably Facebook. For you, it may not be, depending. I included information about how to set up your Instagram account. It's just about as easy as setting up a Facebook account, and then you can link the two together, and you can even have it post simultaneously. Again, I would suggest spending a few weeks getting proficient at one before you start posting to both, just to make sure you have the bells and whistles worked out. But it's super easy, and you can have up to 5 Instagram accounts at a time. So you, again, might have a personal Instagram and you might have a business Instagram. And, that's up to you to decide. Your business Instagram, though, can have your website address and get people going towards your website. They make it super easy to post on Instagram. You just go on there, you click the plus sign, and, you can take a photo or you can grab one from the feed just right off your phone. And then what you do, I didn't put a lot of information about this, but if you're going to post on Instagram, you want to add hashtags. My suggestion for adding hashtags would be to add some that are for a wider audience. So if you're a painter, you might put plein air, but there might be, when you see the drop down, when you put the hashtag in, you will see that plein air might get like 1 million hits. And then a narrower topic, like if it's plein air painting of the Simsbury Flower Bridge, and you type in Simsbury Flower Bridge or pound Farmington Valley, you might be hitting that audience too. So you're probably going to be more likely to hit a buyer if you're doing Farmington Valley or Simsbury Flower Bridge or that type of thing in your hashtag. But you can just go online and you can do all kinds of research with hashtags. And what I have done for my day job, because I work for a educational media design company, and we do design for online courses like animations and graphics and, nuts to bolts course design from, conception all the way through delivery. I have sets of hashtags, and you may want to consider that. I keep them just in a document, and I use them, depending on what type of thing I'm posting. I'll be like, oh, I'll use this set, or oh, I'll use that set. And the other thing I want to say is it's really good if your Instagram looks cohesive. And I'm going to get out of this again for a moment. I'm going to show you my daughters. My daughter is a graphic designer for Sundance Catalog, if you've ever heard of them, out in Utah. This is her personal page. And since she is a designer, it's a designery looking page, but you can see that on her personal page, she uses filters. This is just her own, obviously, her abuelita and her in a hammock, and here's some horses. And so you can see she's used a filter, and she's put these lovely icons up here. This is her personal page. But then we go to her, besides her day job, she has her own studio called Salt and Sunrise. And I'm just using this as an example. So you can see that everything she posts here is related to her side business. This is stuff that she's designed. Some of it but it's interspersed with, this is her actual desk. There's stuff in here she likes. This is a magazine cover she designed. This is, you know, a rough sketch for something she's working on. So don't forget that kind of stuff. If you're posting to Instagram, don't think it has to be a work of art every day. It could be your hand on the computer. It could be a photo of something, you know, you would admire. It could be overlapping with your personal stuff because this is, you know, a picture of where she lives. Interspersed with the design, but you can see what she's done here is she has curated that feed. And I guess that is the word that I would use, is curated, because it's very intentionally designed. And if you're an artist, you should be able to do that. Now, in contrast, this is the company that I work for, and we do animation and graphics and illustrations, and you can see the difference, but you can see that it represents our company, and these are actually our colors, etc. And they're very, very different feeds, but they're both what I would call, you know, curated to achieve a specific effect, which looks more polished and designery than just a, you know, conglomeration of stuff on Instagram. So just a few tips and trips from Instagram, because I'm watching the time here. Like Facebook, probably want to keep your personal and your business, you know, with a wall between them, but that's up to you. Instagram is meant for mobile devices, and I didn't finish that sentence, and it works best on mobile devices. It's better on a desktop than it used to be, but it's really optimized for you to use on your phone. And secondary would be your iPad, and your third choice would be your clunky desktop. I just talked about curating your feed. Same thing, post often, you know, make yourself a schedule. Doesn't all have to be work for sales. Post photos of yourself working. Be sure you put your link to your website, and remember, Instagram also wants your money. And Instagram does have features that allow people to buy directly from Instagram. And you're going to have to decide how you feel about all of that. Here's a little blurb on how you connect your Facebook to your Instagram. And then I wanted to touch on Facebook and Instagram boosting and advertising. So this is Facebook's own words about boosting and advertising. Facebook advertising and Instagram, it can be very cheap or it can be very expensive. And I will tell you, we do some Facebook boosting on our page for work, and it might cost as little as a couple dollars, or it might cost, I don't know, 50. It might cost a lot more. It could cost hundreds if you're actually putting an ad, because you know how your feed is always all full of ads. But generally, you could spend only a few bucks, and you know, you choose your audience. So you want it to go to people of a certain age and a certain demographic that have shown an interest, say, in craft shows. I don't know, they give you all those choices. So I think the nice thing about the boosting of the Facebook posts is it doesn't cost you very much to try it, because there's a lot of forms of advertising where you have hundreds of dollars to dip your toe in the water. And with this, you could maybe spend a few bucks and, you know, put your toe in the water with that. So anyway, that's a little bit on Facebook and Instagram advertising. One thing you can do, and Debbie's left the conversation, but this is Debbie's post on Granby Artists page. I put a red arrow there because you can see that this is a class that Debbie is covered up. She's doing it at the library. You know, it's another one of these type of classes. You see the red arrow? There are already, that has reached 1,700 people. And Anuka Rodolati, who is also an administrator of the Granby Artists Facebook page, is kind of a master at viral marketing on Facebook. So one of the best ways you can actually promote your work is to carefully and respectfully join groups that allow posting of events, etc. So, we mentioned Granby Living, maybe Simsbury Moms, there's the local people who live within this, 40-mile radius that might come to your events and be interested. Again, you don't want to spam these feeds. You don't want to be like on there annoying everybody who really wants to know whose dog is lost and why are there sirens in the center of town. You need to be respectful. You need to read all the rules. And, when you go to join these groups, you want to say something like, I'm interested in, telling you about local art events or something like that. Be truthful about why you're joining. You can spread the news by doing programs just like this. Like, you can volunteer like I have tonight to do this program for the library and, get the word out about what it is you do, and that you're here in town, and that you are a photographer, you are a painter or whatever. And if you belong to an artist group, be sure to encourage everybody in the group to share every post with their own following. That's really important. At the very end of your handout, I threw in some resources. Skillshare.com has both free and paid courses that you can sign up for a membership. If you type in Facebook for Artists, Instagram for Artists, a lot of people have made videos. So if you get stuck, or if you want more ideas, or you want to learn how hundreds of artists do this, go to Skillshare or go to YouTube. And just know that, not everything that's on YouTube or Skillshare is terribly curated, and some of it may be really bad advice. You need to filter out what's the best thing for you. But I did put down, I did put down one video I liked. That this is only about a 10-minute one at the end here. This guy who made this video on sharing art on social media, the do's and don'ts, and I thought it was a really good video. So I put that one. I put that one in there. So anyway, that is my talk for this evening, and I would like to open it up briefly because I've just been talking nonstop, to see if anybody has any questions before we end the evening.
Well, I'm just jumping in. I was incredibly impressed with everything that you just covered. And I know that some of our attendees may have some experience with this already, because they're, viable artists in the world there. But I think you covered a lot of interesting little points that they were helpful to me, and I'm sure others got some good takeaways from there too. So Lori, I just want to say thank you very much, because you really did cover a broad scope of all these social media tools that we have at our availability. So having said all that, look at Andy's like, oh, she's sending us a little yay.
Oh, thanks for the clapping.
So what I'll do though is I'll stop the recording now, so that anybody who has lots of questions or wants to go into more detail, they can do that. And let me just thank you all again for attending. And if you need to get in touch with Granby Artists Association or the library, it's easy to do. Our websites are out there, and granbyartist.org, and it's granby-ct.gov/library to get in touch with us. So I just want to
Could I just make one more
yes.
say one more thing, Holly, about the Granby Artists Association? If you're in town and you're an artist, I encourage you to join, because it's a lot of fun. And you do not have to join. There's different levels of membership. So for a very nominal fee, you can join as an associate member. And there's one all-member show per year, and you don't have jury or anything, or you just have to come and enjoy yourself and enjoy the camaraderie with other artists and the learning that happens in the group. And you can decide at any point down the line that you actually want to do a jury to become an exhibiting member and participate in Open Studio and the holiday show and those type of things. So I just really want to plug it as a really great organization here in town that's available for anybody who wants to join. Even if you want to just support the art, You don't even have to be an artist. You can just come if you love art. So
I'm really glad you mentioned that because they're a fantastic group. I've bumped into them over the years working at the library and getting in touch with them, and it's really a nice group of people. And you covered it oh so briefly, but we probably should let folks know that the Granby Artists Association is having holiday marketplace. I believe that's, I hope I get this right, is it December 4th and 5th, or do I have that wrong? I probably should.
right. That sounds right. Let me look at it. I'm not doing it, so I'm actually looking at the.
Okay.
Yes, that
Yeah.
should be the right date.
Okay. And then
It'll
they
be on the
also,
website for sure.
absolutely. And they also have a wonderful art show at the Lost Acres Vineyard. And
Mhm.
that's usually the month of December. So that's a really, if you've got to go wine shopping while you're up there at the vineyard, you get a chance to see a lot of the artists' work on display at that during that month. And just another heads up, we do have one more artist talk coming Wednesday, November 10th. Lori's going to come back and do another program for us. And this time she's going to really focus on resumes and portfolios for artists and graphic designers. So if anybody attending tonight is interested in going the next round, we'll be doing that in 2 weeks, and share that information with your friends. And of course, I'm booking all kinds of programs for the Granby Public Library. So come find our programs and there. And I'm probably jumping the gun a little bit here too, but Andy Mars is going to be doing some technology classes for us.
Great.
Yeah, this winter. So we're excited to have her come back, and she's going to be doing some more for us. So having said all of that exciting stuff, I'm going to open up the floor here for questions. So thank you.